Did I type it in right?
No.
Why'd you do that?
Goki, did I type it in right?
We did.
Goki, did I type it in right?
I don't know.
Did
Did
you
you
check?
type it in right?
No.
I didn't?
I don't know. Maybe.
Tell me yes.
My blanket answer is no.
Come on, Daisy.
You say yes, and I will be happy.
Yes, you typed it in.
Yeah.
Alright, we are getting started.
Okay.
Make sure I turn that on. Yep. Okay.
How much is a lot?
So, make sure you got your headphones out. Turn off your games, Daisy.
Headphones on, yeah.
I'm gonna share my score on you.
Okay.
We shouldn't do this. We should just have a test.
What?
Or review then test.
Alright.
No.
We're having one this week anyway.
So, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be solving equations with radicals. You guys will probably like this better than some of the others because it's going to be a lot of solving equations, which you guys usually like to do.
No.
We're going to find the solution of 3 plus the square root of 2x minus 3 equals 8. So, first thing we need to do is get this radical by itself. So, I want to get it so I have just the radical on one side, which means I have to get rid of this 3 on front. How am I going to get rid of that 3 on front? We're going to minus it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to minus 3 on both sides. And I'm actually going to go down here where I have space. I have the square root of 2x minus 3, and it's going to equal 5. Alright. I need to get rid of my radical. And that's a square root, right? What's the opposite of a square root?
Square.
Square root. Remember, the opposite of a radical is an exponent that has the exact same index. So the index here is 2. So to get rid of it, I'm going to take it to the power of 2. And if I do an exponent of 2 on the left, I have to do an exponent of 2 on the right. Which means my radical and exponent cancel each other out. I get 2x minus 3, which is going to equal 5 squared. What? 25. That's 10 squared, man.
Yeah.
There you go. It's going to equal 25. And you guys have done crap loads of these kinds of problems. We're going to add 3 to both sides.
Oh wait, there's 1,000 more steps.
And we're going to get 2x equals 28, right? Divide by 2, divide by 2. We get x equals 14.
Is that all we're doing today?
Nope.
Just about.
Just about.
What?
10 more slides.
Probably just give me another step.
Is it?
Kind of, yeah. Alright, and that's it. That's all you gotta do
Hold
for
on,
these.
hold
You get the radical by itself,
You gotta do stuff like
and then you do the opposite of the radical, and then go from there.
We have to put that into a radical to solve it.
And this is basically all we're doing today. We are going to have to go from exponential to
Yeah.
radical and radical to exponential form a
Is
little
that the
bit, but nothing major.
No.
Make sure everybody has this down first, though.
74.
So you get plus 5, that's fine. 9.
Okay, I got it.
74.
Alright. You guys want to do another one like this together, or you want to just try it on your own?
Oh, yeah.
Keep going. Keep going, bigger.
Ow.
Alright, on your own, I want you to solve
Oh, you just pressed
this one.
Because.
This one?
So on your own, I want you to solve it for x. So keep in mind though, is this minus 5 inside my square root? No, you better get rid of that first.
Oh, what's up, Ken?
And this is a 4. I'm not sure why. Oh yeah, that's a 4 right there. It's just, it's there we go. Thank you. Alright, solve it for x. Get the radical by itself, then do the opposite of the radical, and then just solve for whatever's left.
The volleyball thing?
Oh, exactly.
Is the radical by itself? It's the square root sign. Yeah. Is it by itself?
10 qualified for the show.
I can get it by itself.
I don't think so.
Well, we gotta do that minus 5, right?
off doors.
Because that's outside the radical, isn't it?
Are you qualified to be
So
constructing?
plus 5 on both sides first.
Alright.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting for something to break.
You got it? I got it.
The glass.
Say one game. Oh no. I fell in the hole.
Are you just?
What is that head bouncing?
I don't know, it's just a random power.
Wait, where are you at? Is it
On the hoop. Oh, darn it.
Joe.
What's up, Joe?
Oh,
What
my
else
mom
has
needs
stuff
the
here?
battery.
Yep, you got it. Keep going, man. Keep going.
Ow! Did I do it
You
right?
suck.
Probably not. I don't know.
Fuck.
What's 4 squared? 4, 5,
Are you-
4, 2.
Better
Yeah. I'll give you another minute or so.
No.
Remember, take it a piece at a time.
No. Yes. 3. Let's go. Look at your penny.
Oh,
Can't lose.
How'd you get X?
Score for me.
you got it wrong.
Oh, it's
Oh, it's
7.
tiny.
Damn.
Yes.
I think it's supposed to be a 7.
This
It's
game.
okay. So 7 really
It's just a
close.
kid.
You gotta slap a 3 and you're gonna be
So
tired.
the 14.
Oh, I swear if you
Oh,
did. 3 for me. Oh,
Is that 5
That was a
inside
good
the
game.
radical or outside?
Outside.
So we gotta get rid of
You
that
good?
first.
X equals 14, right?
You guys don't look like you're in the same spot.
X equals 14, right?
No,
what the?
That's what I got.
that's not the answer.
What did I do?
If you add a 6 to that 1, you'll get it right.
16?
Wait,
Is the 5 inside the
74?
radical?
Yeah.
So that means you gotta get rid of it first by adding 5.
I got X plus 7 equals 9.
We're gonna add 5
Oh.
first.
Oh, 9.
And then you square it.
Remember, you gotta square it.
Now I have to do
9
math.
squared is 81.
Alright,
Oh, the 2 there, but now what do I do?
Hello, Carrie.
Hey, you already got rid of
Hey,
5.
Okay, I'm leaving for physical.
So that'd be a
Yeah.
negative 1.
See ya.
Oh, you're gonna try here, man?
What?
Never mind.
I have to go to both.
Alright, let's go with this.
I'm
Thank
leaving.
you.
Nerd.
What the?
Okay. Just watch the video tonight or whatever.
I'll leave you.
It won't be a whole lot
I'll
different.
leave you little tidbits.
You still not?
This problem's really hard, Austin. The answer is 7.
Actually, I'm dropping out, so CEO. Never mind.
Have a nice night. Alright, let's go over this one together. So let's start off with Raven. What's the first thing we should do?
Add 5.
Yep, we're gonna add 5 to both sides. Okay? We're gonna add 5 to both sides. I get the square root of x plus 7 equals 9. Carissa, what am I doing next? Yep. We're gonna square it. We're gonna square it. Let me close the door because it's loud.
Thank you. It's really distracting.
Ah.
Alright, so we are gonna square it. We're gonna get x plus 7 equals 81. And our last step, what is it, Hermione? Yep. Minus 7. And we're gonna get x equals 74. Not bad. Alright. Let's look at this one, and we are doing basically the same thing, but on this one. I'm going to find the solution of 3, and then parentheses x plus 1 to the 2/3, and it equals 12. Okay, our first thing we're going to do is we always want to do this in radical form. We want to do this in radical form. So we're going to need to convert this before we do anything else.
Okay.
So I'm going to put my 3 out in front here. He's just going to kind of chill for a while. I'm going to have my x plus 1, and then I'm going to have a radical, right? What is going to be my index on this radical?
3,
And what's going to be my exponent over here?
2.
Yep. Okay. And then it's still going to equal 12. All right. Up here, between the 3 and this parenthesis, what sign was there? Plus, minus, multiply, or divide?
Multiply.
Multiply, right? So I need to keep my multiply right there. Okay. What I want to do next is I want to get the radical by itself, which means I have to get rid of this 3. How am I going to get rid of it?
Divide.
Minus.
Minus. Divide. Because that's a 3 times, right? So I'm going to divide by 3. And then I'm going to get the cube root of x plus 1 squared, and it's going to equal 4. Okay. On this one now, I've got a couple things going on. I have 3 things. I have a cube root, I have an exponent of 2, and then I have a plus 1. We are going to end up doing this parentheses very last. So let's get rid of our radical next. What is the opposite of a cube root? What is it? I heard it. Yep, we're going to cube it. Remember, to get rid of a radical, we need to put it to the same power as the index. My index is 3, so I'm going to have power of 3. If I power of 3 to the left, I got a power of 3 to the right. Okay? My radical, my power of 3 cancels out, and I got an x plus 1 squared, and it's going to equal 4 to the third, which is 64, I think? Yeah, 64. Okay. All right. This is already looking a lot better. What am I going to get rid of next? The plus 1 or the squared?
Squared.
The squared, right? By doing what?
Square root.
We're going to square root. Okay. This is where it can be a little sneaky. We've kind of talked about this before, but not a lot. So we're going to square root it, right? Okay. I'm going to get an x plus 1, and it's going to equal, what's the square root of 64?
8.
Okay. I'm going to give it 8, but I am also going to get negative 8.
Ah,
Okay. Because, let's look at this real quick. If I said x squared, this is just a random example. If I said x squared equals 4, what would x be?
2.
X would be 2, right? But, couldn't x also be negative 2?
yes.
Because negative 2 squared is a positive. Anytime you have an even index, when you make your own radical, and you have an even index, you get 2 answers, a positive and a negative. So even indexes always have 2 answers. If I can spell it right. Even indexes have 2 answers. We have a positive and a negative. This only happens, though, when you make the radical yourself. I made the square root, right? It wasn't in my problem already. I made it myself, so I have 2 answers. So this only happens when you make the radical yourself. Only happens if you make the radical. There's too much writing. Not enough numbers. Okay, keep that in mind as we go through this. If you have an even index and you make the radical yourself, you get 2 answers, a positive and a negative. And then I've got my positive 8 and my negative 8, but am I done solving it for x?
No.
Now, what's the last thing?
Minus 1.
We're going to minus 1. And when I minus 1, I am going to minus 1 everywhere. So I'm going to minus 1 here, I'm going to minus 1, and then minus 1. So I'm going to end up with 2 answers. I'm going to end up with, let me get a little more space. I'm going to end up with x equals 7 and negative 9. These are both my answers. So keep that in mind as you go through this. If you make an index, if you make a radical yourself, it has an even index, then you have 2 answers. Everybody got this one down?
Yeah.
You still have it, James? You still write it down, James?
Yeah, I got it.
I'm still
Want
writing.
to make sure everybody's got this down.
I'm still writing.
Okay, give me a second.
You're good.
So we're going to keep that in mind, and this time we're going to find the solutions of 3 times the 5th root of x plus 1 to the 3rd plus 1. And it's going to equal 25. Alright, just like all these other problems, we need to get the radical by itself first. Okay, now? Oh, alright, so we need to go through and we need to get this radical by itself first. So I am going to need to get rid of this 3 and the plus 1. What am I going to get rid of first? Plus 1. By doing the opposite, which is minus 1 on both sides. Minus 1, there we go. So I'm going to minus 1 everywhere. And I'm going to get 3 fifth root of x plus 1 to the third, and it's going to equal 24. This one was nice because I didn't have to convert it into radical form. It's already in a radical. And then, how am I going to get rid of this 3 up front, Alyssa?
Hmm?
How am I going to get rid of this 3 up front? What? What?
No, oh my god.
How are we going to get rid of it?
I don't know.
What's going on between the 3 and the radical here? Is there a plus, minus, multiply, or divide?
What?
I'll give you a hint. I guess it would help if you looked. Alright, it's a 3 times, right? How do we get rid of the times? What's the opposite of this side?
Can you not? I don't know. Divide it.
Divide it, there we go. That's all I wanted. We're going to divide it by 3. And we're going to get the 5th root of x plus 1 to the third equals, this time we're going to get 8. Alright. May, what am I going to do next?
You're going to, I don't know how to say it, but you're going to put like the 5 like right there.
Right here? Yeah.
What is that
would be a power of 5.
Okay, yeah, you're going to do the power of 5.
After 3, we just say powers of, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have squared and then cubed and then power.
Fifth.
So we're going to do power of 5, right? Because that cancels out my radical with index of 5. And I'm going to go x plus 1 to the third. And it's going to equal, I don't know what that is. Devin, you got decimals right there. What do you get? What's 8 to the 5th?
32,768.
32,768. All right. Jason, what's my next step?
Cube.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to cube root it, because that's my radical, right? Cube root. And we're going to get an x plus 1, and it's going to equal, oh, James. You got decimals right there?
No, I don't.
32. All right. I'll press Devin again. He plugged this into decimals, and he got 32. All right. Thomas, am I going to have a negative 32 here?
No, because it's even. Or it's odd, I mean.
Correct. We are not going to have negative 32 because my index is odd. When the index is odd, we don't care.
No.
When it's even, though, then we have the negative. But it's an odd, so I'm just going to go 32. Which means, James, what's my last step?
I don't know. Oh, minus 1.
Back up. It's like the easiest to find all day. Minus 1. We get x equals 31 for our final answer. All right. All right, your guys' turn. I want you to, on your own, I want you to solve this. And I'll give you a hint. On this one, you're going to have to convert it into radical form.
Wait, Gogi.
Yeah.
It's
What?
index over exponent, right?
I gotta leave in like 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop you.
Got baseball. Just letting you know. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll give you a hint. On this one, you're going to have to convert it into radical form, which I'll help you out a little bit. Just make sure you got it.
It's index over exponent.
It'll be 2, and then other way around.
Exponent. So 3. Okay.
So I'll give you a little bit of a hint just to get you started. Convert it into radical form like that. And go from there. Yep. Good luck. So on your own, on your paper, I want you to solve it for x. Once you're done, check with your partner, see if you get the same answer. Then we're going to do it on the board together. And then you guys will do your exit ticket, and that's it.
Do you want to round to the 10th?
100.
Hey,
Yeah. Oh, okay, so.
Is the radical by itself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any pluses or minuses on the outside and multiply and divide?
Oh.
So get rid of that first. I'll get rid of that times 2. Divide by 2 on both sides.
Oh, 16.
You multiply and divide.
Oh, 4. So you still write all this? Three away. Or,
Yeah. So power of 3, power of 3, right?
That's 14.
Oh,
16 times 4.
yeah, never mind.
Okay. Now, how do you do that?
No, it's right down. X plus 3 parentheses squared. Okay.
Where do you do that?
That's fine.
What do you divide by 3 then?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
How do you get rid of the exponent of 2? What's the opposite?
What do you do with this 2 times 3?
The 2 times on outside
Yeah.
is multiplied by this whole thing. So you're going to get rid of that first by doing the opposite of times 2.
Times 2?
Because it's the 2 times.
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So you do the opposite of that.
Divide everything by 2?
Yep.
How do you divide this?
When you divide it by 2, it like cancels out.
Divide what by 2 here? What's this?
8 times 2.
Oh.
Alright, you forgot to write equals. You say here's 8.
Oh.
I'm trying to figure out how to get this one, but I don't know how
I
you
got
do
three
it.
dollars in front of
Isn't it my cousin?
Yeah, because that's the index.
Oh, God.
Like that, right?
There you
The
go.
3's there? Or are they gone?
Yeah, because that's the
You said
index.
that. Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's a cube.
Oh, but I wrote 4.
Yeah.
And
Square root of 64 though.
8.
Close.
Yeah, because we have
Minus 3, minus 3. But
Because
Oh,
that is
okay.
an index of 2, right?
oh, in negative 5, right?
No, 5 and negative 11.
So you got one answer, but you gotta get your
Oh,
second.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
now what, Gold?
Alright, how do you get rid of that index of 3? What's the opposite of the radical of index of 3?
Square root?
A power of 3. So power of 3 both sides.
since this is a negative, would I do like this? Alright.
So that's, the negative means there's a negative 1.
Alright.
Hey,
I was trying to.
that drink.
Alright, just help me first, then I'll.
No, no.
Yeah, but you guys three
I was using it.
it's fine.
Ah, cool. Alright, what's my other one?
Okay. Did you make the radical yourself?
Yes.
Yes, right. You filled it in yourself, right? That was not a problem. Okay, what's the index? It's bother you, which means you're missing an answer. So you're right.
Yeah, but I don't know where.
Just negative 8 right here. Just put like comma
Negative 8
negative.
minus 2.
Is this a credit?
Negative 11.
No.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Alright, something pretty good. Let's go over this. You guys are going to help me out first, though. James, what was the first thing we did?
Wait, that's written up there or not?
You divided the 2.
Yep, we divided by 2, right?
Divide by 2.
And we get cube root of x plus 3 squared equals 4. Devin, what's next?
Oh, you do, you cube it.
Yep, power of 3 to get rid of my radical with index of 3. And we get x plus 3 squared equals 64. Helena, what are we going to do next?
No, I didn't do this right.
Alright, well, let's look at this one. We have to get rid of this
Oh, okay.
exponent right here of 2, right? What's the opposite?
I put the wrong number in there, but I guess I still got it right. Oh, yeah, square root.
Square root it, right? I'm going to square root it. Square root it, and we're going to get x, so no parentheses. we're gonna get x plus 3 equals 8. But, Raven, I'm missing something. It's not just 8. What else is there? Okay, we made a radical ourselves, right? What's the index in this radical? Even though we're not writing it down. It's not there. There's not a number there. That's fine. 2, right? Is that odd or even? Even. Whenever there's an even index on the radical I make myself, we get 2 answers. Positive 8, or positive and a negative. So, we square rooted it, and we got 2 things, a positive and a negative. Okay? And from there, Carissa, what's our last step? What's our last step now? Yep, minus 3. And I'm going to minus 3 everywhere to get x equals 5 and negative 11. Pretty good, but you got to watch out. You got to watch out for this sneaky negative answer in here. It's sneaky. So remember, when you make a radical yourself, like we did right here, I made the radical myself, and the index is even, we get 2 things, positive and negative. Alright, that's it. If you haven't yet, do your exit ticket. 2 problems. I will turn on Socrative, and I will put your homework on Google Classroom. You guys will have lots of time to get it done in class today.
We will.
Or do missing assignments.